yeah, it was really intimidating. I still remember when the bus rocked up and everyone stepped out and they looked at Chula Vista and everyone went really quiet.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the eSKATE Chat podcast. Before we get stuck into it, I was having a look at the analytics of the last video just to see, how people were enjoying the podcast, and it's pretty good. A lot of people are coming, watching, and they're hanging around for the whole episode, which is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it's positive.
What I did notice is that less than half of the people who do stick around aren't actually subscribers. So, if you're watching it, please subscribe, hit that like button. Any interaction you do with the video really helps us go out to more people. It helps in the algorithm, and then we get more people into eSKATE, and we can do more things like the Australian Open. So that's what this one's about. We're going to be talking all things Australian Open. Let's cast our minds back, or yours back anyway, to the last competitive Australian event we had. When was it? What set the scene?
Yeah, cool. So the first time we did the Australian Open, I'm pretty sure it was 2018. And as it sounds, it's the Australian Open, and it was an event we did on the Gold Coast, and we teamed up with Extreme Karting, so it was a go-kart track, and they had an off-road track which they used for their go-karts. It was like all drifting, and we approached them, and they said, yeah, you can use the track, but we had to build it. So we had to modify the track. We had 3 days there where we were like landscaping and trying to build all the berms ourselves, and it was hard. And at the end of the day, we come up with a pretty good track. But the whole purpose of this was we wanted anyone from, around Australia to come along, do this event. It was an Evolve event only. And at the time, our product on the market was the GT series. So it started there, and the big draw card here was whoever won the event won a brand new custom board, and you got a free ticket to the to USA. And to participate and represent Australia, in the Evolve Riders World Cup, which was held in USA, and a few months later, and it was a great event. It was the first time we'd done something like this, and we tried to make it competitive, and we had a pretty good turnout. I think it was only about 40 riders. A lot of people turned up on the day, but it basically, it was like you had 3 laps around this big track. And by the time you got on the 3rd lap, you were pretty gassed. Your legs were pretty tired. There was a lot of spills. There was a lot of cheering on the sidelines. And the person who won it was Tyler. We did allow our staff to participate. I know Nick was there, Dave was there, Tiles was there, I think a few others. But all in all, it was a really good event. And we've learned a lot from that event. We've thought, how can we make this better? One thing for sure was those who don't own Evolve boards. We got a lot of feedback around that and say, hey, can I bring my DIY, or I have this brand? And we thought, yeah, why not? This is the direction where it really needs to go. If we want more numbers at these events, it's got to be inclusive. We need to allow any boards there. But at the end of the day, we all know each board has different specs. So we have to work out a level, fair playing field. We need categories.
So after the Australian Open, we went straight over to the USA World Cup.
Yep.
Which had an Evolve category, then split a wildcard category and separated.
Yeah.
And then the event after that was the UK Open, where we did a free-for-all. So juxtaposing those 2 things together, you really see what happens when you split it or throw everyone in the mix.
Yeah, that's right. So, from the first Australian Open, we knew that we needed to make this an open event eventually. And then the next at the USA Evolve Rise World Cup, that's where we tested that. We did a wildcard event on the last day at K1 Speedway, and that was so cool. We had all these crazy boards there, and it just created a whole new environment. And then we again learned a lot from that, and we then wanted to just do one particular event, which was any skateboard can turn up. But we all know that not every skateboard is going to be suited to the track. Can they get over the berms? Can they get over the rollers? How tight are the turns? There's some big boards out there that just can't get around, and mountain boards as well, bindings versus non-bindings.
Yep, there was boards with suspension that couldn't actually make it around the track. There were some high-powered boards that were probably never over 20% of their capacity, so there was no point having that much power.
Yeah, it's true.
But very dependent on the track. Going back to the 2021 Australian Open, what track are we looking at? What's this one like?
Okay, so we've chosen a track, a lot more professional track. We didn't want to build the track ourselves because it's going to take a long time, and to find a company that can work with us and the space and location. So we went down the route like we did in the USA Rivalries World Cup. We hooked up with a BMX track. There's a start line, very professional start. You go down the hill, and then there's a finish line. So there's no laps. It's from start to finish. So that's the biggest difference in this, this event 2021 versus the World Cup. It's a BMX track in Redlands. It's a pretty cool track, man. It's going to be challenging. It's not too challenging, not like Chula Vista Olympic Park that we did it for the Evolve World Cup. So I think it won't scare a lot of people. But it's tabletops. There's quality berms. The track surface is really clean. It's good. It's safe. And yeah, I think it'll test people's skills, but at the same time, if you're not, the world's best electric skateboarder, you're still going to be able to get around the track and have a good time.
Yeah, the track's going to be a lot less intimidating than the USA one.
Oh man, it was really intimidating. I still remember when the bus rocked up and everyone stepped out and they looked at Chula Vista and everyone went really quiet. It was they were big tabletops, man, and that start. Yeah, it was pretty full on.
That's going to be cool because then the challenge isn't getting around the track, it's how fast you can go around. So for the people that are just there for a bit of fun, it's not going to be too much of an issue to go around. Also, shout out Redlands BMX Club. They've been incredibly helpful, obviously giving us a track, but they're also going to accommodate us by shaving down some of the humps where clearance is an issue or where we're carrying too much speed. So it is still going to be sort of suited to an electric board event, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah, no, these guys have been awesome to work with, and we're lucky. It's not easy trying to find the right place to do these events, and that's always a challenge being a fairly new sport. But so those guys have come to the party well. It's a good track. Everyone's going to have a lot of fun there, and I really, compared to the Chula Vista, people who don't have that skill will be able to get around, without shitting their pants.
Yeah, and it's not too long. I think on my first lap when I was just checking it out, I think I did 45 seconds. So I think that's about the average length. Wasn't hammering it, wasn't going too slow.
Yeah. I went around, I've only done it once as well, but I must admit, by the time I got to the end, I had back leg burn. So it will test people.
The last straight is just a whole bunch of rollers, just rollers in a straight line. So you need to be in the motion of it, pumping it, and then you start that leg burn, and you feel it. So that's awesome. The club itself obviously caters to BMX events all the time. So it is a professional setting. There's, obviously toilets, canteen. They're going to be looking after that. The race is going to run into nighttime. It's under lights. So come finals, 7:00 at night, it's hard to explain. There's a bit of a grandstand type situation. So everyone will be looking down on the track. You can view the whole track. The start line and the finish line is next to one another. I think the atmosphere, it's designed for spectatorship.
Yeah, it's true. Look, at the end of the day, we want to make this event to be competitive for those that are, that way inclined, who really want to go fast and who want to win, But then again, we also want to make it fun. And for those people that just want to go and ride a different surface that they haven't done before, that's really important. So it will cater to the competitive as well as those who just want to turn up and have a crack.
And that's important, something we talk about when we sit down and we try and map out how the categories are going to work. We always make sure at a minimum people are going to get X amount of riding time. So there's a free skate session, then we go into some heats where there's qualifications before it gets too competitive. So at the very least, a lot of people are done by the time they've finished that. Their legs are tired, they've been around the track 20 times. They've been skating for an hour or two.
Yeah, that's right. And it'll come down to the qualifiers. So they'll get plenty of goes at the track and go as fast as slow as you want. And then for those that have done really well, then they move on to the next rounds. But so I guess we need to talk about categories then. So we've tried to make this as inclusive as we can. So we have an all evolve category, and where it's all stock evolve boards. So that way, whoever's got a GTR or a GT, turn up to the event, you know that you're going to be racing against someone next to you who's got the same board.
And to define stock, that is stock electronics.
Yep.
What can you change? Wheels?
Yeah, so wheels, different tire sizes, different gear ratios. So that's the only hardware that it's up to the rider. They can build it to the track or how they like to ride.
That's no bindings in that category?
No bindings as well. That's right. It's all stock.
Yep. Cool. That's the evolve only category?
That's the evolve only category. Then we've made an open category. And again, how far do we make this at the end of the day? There still needs to be a line drawn in the sand about what open means. So we've made it based on voltage and motor size, and then any sort of hardware, except for binding. So what I mean by hardware, it's like wheels, gears, it's up to the rider. They can choose whatever battery cells, whatever firmware they have, whatever motor controller, as long as it fits within the voltage of 12S and 63 mil size motor.
Yeah.
No bindings though.
We're allowing half bindings, the S2 style. So that will allow people with a larger board on channel trucks to get a little bit more movement because those boards are sort of designed, but it's not really going to facilitate them actually doing jumps. Because I guess we see that as a bit of a next level or a different iteration in the sport. It's not really safe to put someone doing that next to a normal rider in the same category.
Yeah, and we definitely saw that in the UK Open too. We had the Evolve boards and we had the big mountain boards and people doing jumps next to someone who doesn't have bindings. It's a bit of a concern for safety. But having said that, we also need to look at the structure of the event and how many numbers are actually going to turn up in these different categories.
Yeah, and exactly that. It's not that we're against it. I think it's pretty cool and definitely something that electric skateboarding is going to see in the future. But when it comes to looking at the Australian scene, we built our rules based off what we see in the community. So we're trying to be as inclusive as we can while setting these fair guidelines. So in the 12S 63 mil no bindings, it covers almost everyone.
Yeah, the majority.
If we did do a 18S mountain boards category, we might get 4 people there. So at this stage in Australia, it doesn't justify doing that category. Maybe in the USA or the UK, we would do something like that. That's so true. And again, we want to, when we do this event, we'll connect with the community, we'll see the feedback, we'll see what everyone's talking about, and we'll see if it's an opportunity for the next event. And yeah. We have kept the conversation open online. We posted the group, the event a couple weeks ago to get initial feedback. Tickets are not on sale yet. They'll go up mid-May. But until then, we just really want to feel out what people are saying. So we've thrown a few things out there, like the potential of having a women's category. I know.
What's the feedback been on that?
It's been good, like not a lot. We're not expecting a ton of females to come out, but we do know that there's a lot of women 30, 40, 50 years old that love skating with their family. So if we can have some sort of category that's,
I think it's a great idea because we ended up doing that in the USA World Cup as well. We had a women's category and it went down really well. I think there were probably about 10 females at the race and they loved it. They all got on really well and it was really supported by everyone who turned up at the event. If we could get a women's category at this Australian Open, mate, that'd be sick.
Yeah, I think if we do that and it's a way to get them out of spectatorship and onto a board, perfect, let's do that. And that's not to say the Open event is a male event. There's a couple girls out there that could have a solid crack.
I agree.
So I hope they do.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so important that everyone understands, like, yes, it's going to be competitive for some people, but I just want everyone just to, you know, who just wants to have a crack, you know, rock up to the event, have fun and get around the track and just enjoy yourself. So it's, yeah, and race against your mates, you know, and see what happens. Doesn't matter if you win or lose or whatever. It's just if you can beat your mate, you got one up on your mate, you know, you've had a win.
That leads into another conversation we were having about having our participants enter in their skate club or their state and then trying to have this group mentality competition where it's like, all right, Melbourne crew, can you take down Sydney crew? And then
that would be the ultimate.
We need to wait till ticket sales come in and see who's coming from where. But I think there's going to be a bit of state versus state action.
Yeah, I think if we could generate some rivalry, you know, friendly rivalry, you know, as it is, you know, a bit of Queensland versus New South Wales or the Sydney Riders group versus the Southeast Queensland Riders group, and you get your core mates, come up, you get 10 people and go, let's go and have some fun. And whether you win or lose, as long as you rock up, and it'd just be good to get all the communities together under one roof and just see how everyone, you know, connects and communicates with each other. And because at the end of the day, we've all got the same passion, and we just want to celebrate what we all love, which is electric skateboarding. And we just want to put on an event where we've enabled a location that's different and just have some fun, you know?
We get to do it all the time, I guess, so we're lucky, but we fly around to do events. A lot of people only would skate within their crew or their local area. When you jump into different areas and see how different groups of people skate together, it seems like there's a different culture there. So when everyone comes together and there's this melting pot of ideas and styles and they're all hitting a location in their own way, oh man, it's cool. It's like the UK Open. We definitely had that come together.
Yeah, no, that'll be really interesting. So we just really need the guys and girls within these groups to like get behind this and just think, yeah, this could be cool, and support it and just come along, because, you know, it is about the community and it's not just about racing. We want people to have fun. And if we can get that and we get that mindset going around, you know, in these other riders groups, it'll be cool. And really we're setting a platform for the future.
Yeah. We haven't fleshed this out completely because we don't know where people are coming from, but we do want to facilitate travel. So we spoke about offering a service to get your boards here. We know flying with a board isn't the easiest thing in the world. So we're going to arrange some... however we do it, you contact us, we'll work out how you get your board here, we'll take it to the event, you can come pick it up from here on the Gold Coast, whatever it might be. But if that's your concern, we'll have a solution.
Yeah, definitely. So I think we can easily facilitate that. You know, we do it with some of our retailers already, so I'm sure we could work out a system where we can get the boards up here. And then I guess, you know, people need to start looking at a combination. You know, there's plenty of places around Brizzy, Redlands, or even Gold Coast. It only takes half an hour to get there from the Goldie. It's nothing. So
we'll focus so much on the race. We forgot to talk about the day after, because I think that's going to be awesome too. After the race, we're going to do a big after party. We always do it. So there'll be a bit of a recovery group skate, and we'll do it in Brisbane City. Brisbane's one of the best places to skate in the world.
100%. We've been hitting it the last couple of weeks, and I'm blown away. It's a beautiful city, and all those pathways just link up along the water, and it just goes and goes and goes.
Yeah, we were doing
a 40K ride there and back.
Yeah, 40K loop on street wheels.
Yeah.
And it's all rideable, it's all smooth. There are these cycleways that just go alongside the river. At some stages, there's like these floating pontoons out over the water.
Yep. There's no cars to deal with. It's just traffic. You see scooters, you see bikes. You know, you still have to hang left when it's peak hour. But it's amazing. Best place to ride. Like, I've ridden so many places around the world, and spending that amount of time there the last couple of weeks, I've just gone, wow, we are so lucky. This is in our backyard.
So that's another reason to come, because the group ride's going to be huge.
Yeah, definitely.
All the spectators as well will probably turn out and ride on that. So I think we're in for some pretty good numbers on that.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're just waiting for everyone's feedback. We've just still got some finer details to work out with how we're going to structure the race. And that'll be based on, I guess, numbers and attendees at the end of the day. And so, yeah, we'll work that out. And we've already got sponsorship. We haven't worked out where the after party is going to be, but we've got a few DJs there. There'll be some drinks and food. And then, yeah, the massive group ride at the end. It's going to be cool. It's a weekend of fun. It's not just about racing competitive. It's about having a crack, doing something different, turning up, and being a part of the culture. eSKATE, happy days.
It's going to be good. If it is still an open conversation, so if there's anything you think we should include, drop it in the comments. We're speaking about we need to get some jerseys made up. Little things like that add to the event. We're not 100% sure what the best way to do it is.
That's what we did the last two events. Yeah, we had special jerseys made with your number and your name. So little touches like that. Whether that's another good thing or not, we'll see.
If you think it's a good idea,
let us know.
What are we trying to achieve with this Australian Open? I mean, we did the UK Open to sort of prove out an indoor motocross style event. What are we trying to do? Are we trying to create a format that's just a little bit more refined than what we've done in the past?
Yeah, I think we just want to see, what is actually possible and really test what the community is like. How many people do want to get out there and race against each other? Because at the end of the day, this is the sport, and I think that's the direction it's going to end up in the future, especially with high power electric skateboards and how much modifications we can do. But we just want to test the community, test the culture, and how underground can you make it, or how is it eventually going to go really commercial? I guess this is we're building it. There's no races happening really anywhere. We do group rides, we do little meetups at go-kart places, but this is more of a celebration and a festival. And what is the right format? We're still learning. We're trying to work it out as we go, and we want to facilitate as much culture as we can.
I think proving out the BMX concept a little bit further as well. These are facilities that are all over the world. So once we can prove to the BMX club, because they're in the interest of protecting their track, obviously, once we prove, hey, we can align with you guys. This track has been so open-minded. They're like, look, we could do open days here. It's a great way for us to earn extra revenue, all those things.
Yeah. And hook up different locations around the world.
Oh, that's what I mean. Prove out the BMX concept, then go to another club and say, look how well it worked for them.
Yeah, that's definitely the barrier we have, is like, destroying the tracks. They're always concerned about, are we going to wreck what they have been building for years? At the end of the day, we'd love to build our own specialized eSKATE track where it's a combination of different terrains, grass, berms, pavements, beautiful landscapes. It'll be a vision for the future one day, maybe.
We'll see how that goes. That's probably enough for this one. Short and sharp. Oz Open, tickets on sale.
Can't wait.
Mid-May.
Get behind it. Yeah, get behind it, guys.